See, the power of the mind is not a joke.
It is quite literally impossible for you to change yourself physically if there's no change that happens in your mind, because life is not as it is, life is as we are. So if you are still that version of yourself that is identifying to being overweight and not being in your ideal physical body already, well, what life is going to do is simply going to reflect like a mirror. It is simply going to reflect that right back to you. And that's why, more than likely, if you've put any action into trying to change your physical weight is only the effect of the cause. And sadly, trying to change an effect, you're just putting a band-aid on a bullet hole, meaning that you're not going to get lasting change that you seek. And that's why probably you haven't seen the kind of results that you want. So the best way to go about that and to change the reflection that the mirror is giving back to you, because like I said, right, life is not as it is, right? Life is, it just is. It is meaningless. We provide meaning to the situations, to the experiences that we go through. And when we know that, it sort of takes us out of the victim mindset and we gain our control, we take back our power, and we're now able to dictate how we're going to perceive a certain situation and what kind of energy we're going to give into that. Meaning the mirror, if we know that it's a reflection and it's not a window, we're not looking into it, we are looking and it's coming back to us what we're emitting from our signal, our vibration, our frequency, from our human physical, energetical body. And so therefore, with your mind, with your vision, you're able to create that global vision that you want of your ideal physical body, because that's what needs to happen for the reflection, for the mirror to reflect that back to you. Because if you don't do that and you remain in that frequency, in that vibration of being in that overweight, having to carry extra weight on your body every single day, well, what's going to happen is that the mirror is going to reflect that back to you. And then we have this thing in our physical human bodies, our RAS, our reticular activating system. And what that does is the same thing. If you've never thought of a Jeep and then your sister wants to go out and get a Jeep, or someone close to you wants to go and get a Jeep, well, then your reticular activating system picks that up, and then it goes out and you start seeing Jeeps everywhere. But they were there the entire time. It's just you didn't have awareness on that thing because you weren't aware about it and you didn't set intention into wanting to see, like, program that in your reticular activating system. But now what happens, to take that back to your physical body weight example, is that you shift your reticular activating system to go from looking and reflecting back overweight situations, overweight stories, and just situations where you're not getting the result that you want on your physical body. And you start to put your intention and your awareness into already having that ideal physical body, living in that ideal physical body, feeling the things that your ideal physical body feels. And by doing that, then your brain picks that up and your reticular activating system starts to feed that kind of information into it. And then what happens is that the situations, the experiences, the circumstances, and the environments in which you need to be in order for you to go from your overweight body into your ideal physical body, well, what's going to happen is your reticular activating system now is going to make you aware, and you're going to start seeing all the possibilities and all the experiences that you can have in order to go from being overweight and go into your ideal physical body. And without that, it sort of becomes hard because you're there in your situation right now, in your overweight situation. You're like, Charles, I don't know what to do. And I'm telling you, this is exactly what I did. So I'm sharing with you sort of how I broke it down and how quantum physics explained this and how the laws of the universe explains all of this. But this is what happened, is just I had a point where I had a certain level of awareness and I wasn't aware of certain things, and I didn't know what kind of things I needed to do, and I didn't have pieces of data, pieces of information. But then when I flipped that and my reticular activating system started to see the possibilities, because I switched it into wanting a reflection of overweight, I switched the reflection to desiring a reflection of being in my ideal physical body. And how I did that was to change how I saw myself. And then by changing how I saw myself, my reticular activating system picked that up, and now it started to reflect that back to me, because it's not what I was doing, it's who I was being while I was doing that. And your reticular activating system will pick that up, and you'll be able then to now see the possibilities instead of feeling stuck, instead of feeling like you dread everything, like feeling like everything's a chore because you don't have the information that you need. It's because you're at a certain point of awareness, and that's more than likely in your overweight story, which is totally fine, but there's no meaning except the meaning that you give to it. So if you're able to shift the meaning of your life, because it's simply a story that we keep repeating ourselves and add chapters onto it. But it's maybe time to change that chapter and to go from that overweight story that you keep repeating back to yourself and to change the chapter, write a new one into your ideal physical body weight chapter and that story, and to start really feeling into it and to start vibrating into that story and to start amping it up and to give it energy and for it to feel good and to feel amazing and for you to already feel amazing and to love yourself right now. And by doing that, you start to build momentum, and your entire being, physical, emotional, and spiritual being, is going to provide the energy and all that you need for like the creation of that story for yourself. But the most difficult thing is to change, to let that chapter go in the past and let it behind you, and to understand that you have the power. You can take that power back. You can have the control, and you can take that control back into now feeding the story of your ideal physical body weight story, and to feel amazing as that is. And you're going to have the tools necessary in order to have that transformation be successful and to once and for all change. But you're the author to your own story. So that's a lot on that side, but look at your habits daily and you'll be able to see what kind of life you're going to be living and what kind of story are you going to be writing. So you're the author to your own story, the producer to your own movie, and it also happens to be that you're the main character of the movie. So you got to fill in all the roles, but what kind of roles do you want to fill in? So I'll leave you with that. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. Hopefully it motivated you today, gave you some energy to go and tackle the day. And as always, my friends, let's keep making yesterday just.